Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Who the hell are you?
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
What if I told you we were putting a team together? Who's we?
Legend tells us one thing, history another. But every now and then we find something that belongs to both.
What is it?
Power, Doctor. If we can figure out how to tap it, maybe unlimited power.
Well, I guess that's worth a look. Well, I guess that's worth a look.
4 years and 5 films in the making. This is what Marvel Studios did best. And this is the culmination of all that setup and all that legwork. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cabiga's Reviews. And these are my thoughts, my opinions, my feelings on Marvel's first Avengers movie here in the UK, known as Avengers Assemble. Directed by Joss Whedon and starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Kobe Smulders as Maria Hill, Stellan Skarsgård as Eric Selvig, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton, Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and Chris Hemsworth as Thor, among others. When Thor's brother Loki, aided by a mind-controlled Hawkeye and Eric Selvig, gains access to the unlimited power of the Tesseract, Nick Fury initiates a superhero recruitment effort, bringing together Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, and Black Widow to defeat the unprecedented threat to Earth. Alright, firstly I want to get out of the way the title change. Alright, around the world this film was released as The Avengers. But here in the UK there was a TV show in the 60s called The Avengers. And it was totally nothing to do with Iron Man or anything like that. They were basically secret agents and they went round, a bit like Mission Impossible sort of thing. It was a contemporary of Mission Impossible, I believe, as well. And it was a very, very popular TV show. So here in the UK, to avoid any confusion for audiences with that 60s TV show, they changed the title to Avengers Assemble, which is the famous line that Steve Rogers says in the comic anyway. So around the world, it's known as The Avengers. Here in the UK, it's known as Avengers Assemble. It is really as simple as that. Now, the title wasn't the only thing that they changed for the UK audiences, but we will get to that later on. So, Avengers. This film hits the ground running. It does take for granted that you have seen all the previous 5 films and been part of the story for 4 years once you get to this point. Personally, I think you definitely benefit from having seen them, but you can come into this blind. You just don't get it as much as if you had seen it. So my recommendation is definitely go back and watch the others first and then get into this one. Because there's loads of character beats. You know who Iron Man is. You know who Pepper Potts is. You know why he's doing what he's doing. You know what the Tesseract is. You know the significance of it. You know why Steve Rogers is somewhat of a social outcast. And why Nick Fury is recruiting these people. Because there is a threat that he perceives and he understands. And if you've seen the previous films, you know how powerful the Tesseract is. Then you understand as well. You immediately, you're on this ride with these characters. And that's what Disney and Marvel did so well, or Marvel Studios I should say, did so well in the setup that other studios have struggled to try and replicate. Warner Brothers is a great example with the DCEU. They tried to get to their Avengers movie, the Justice League, without doing the legwork previously. They just tried to rush because they wanted a slice of the Marvel's billion-dollar pie. And that just goes to show corporate movie making sucks big time. And it's obvious because you can see it in the latest Exorcist movie. Apparently, I've not seen the film, but from all the reviews I've seen, it's basically just a corporate cash grab at their IP. They just want a slice of the pie, and it's all about money. And when corporations get involved, you end up with a DCEU versus a Marvel Cinematic Universe, which actually works and is based on stories, interconnected stories, and a massive universe. But they do the work, and it pays off, especially in the likes of this film, the first Avengers movie. We start the film, we hit the ground running because there's already a problem, already an issue. S.H.I.E.L.D. have got the Tesseract and they're testing it, which is always a big no-no. They've got this power that they're trying to understand, but they want it for potentially nefarious reasons, but they claim that they want it for clean energy. And one of my favourite lines in the film comes from Clint Barton, Hawkeye. He says it's basically a door to the other end of space. Well, doors can open from both sides, which is a great penny drop moment. It's a light bulb moment. And you go, yes, they do. Which introduces the possibility that somebody else is actually tampering with it from the other end of space, which of course is exactly what's going on. And enter Loki. And if you've seen the previous films, you understand Loki's fixation with Earth and why it is so important to him. I mean, why Earth? I mean, yes, that's where the Tesseract is, but as we find out, the Infinity Stones are spread throughout the universe. They could have gone anywhere. But why Earth? Well, multiple reasons, because that's where we are, that's where the story's told. It helps us to associate ourselves and understand and empathise with the characters if we're already experience their environment, so we get it. But there's also a deeper reason and deeper meaning for Loki, that it is Earth. And you understand that if you've seen the Thor film. Having seen the Thor film also helps you to understand why Loki is not a big fan of What Follows Thunder, because he knows it's his brother. And he knows that there's animosity there, and he knows that he hasn't seen his brother since he tried to kill him and since they fought on the Rainbow Bridge in the Thor film. So yes, go back and watch those, because then you will understand this. All right? There are some great set pieces in this, great action, and every single character is packed full of characters, but every single character gets their chance to shine. I particularly love the opening sequence with Black Widow, which really gives that character chance to show her intelligence. It looks like she's a damsel, looks like she's in trouble. She's on a chair being interrogated. But really, she's interrogating them because she's switching it. She's drawing information out of them, and she's in control at every step. And this film just highlights the depth of that character. She's not just some damsel, some side character just to make up the numbers. Oh no. Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff is definitely a fully fledged Avenger, as is Hawkeye actually, although in this film, he does play a version of it. Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye in this film, is not the Hawkeye that we would want. And that's because of Loki and his mind control. All right? So there's lots going on in this film. Brilliant cinematography. When Natasha goes to go get Bruce Banner, the setting and the locations just look amazing. It looks like, I'm not sure if it's India or Pakistan or just some Asian place. I think it's India. I want to say India, but it could be South America, I suppose. But it just looks great, and it looks so authentic, and the setting and the lighting and the comedy of it, the duplicity, is that a word? Is that the word I'm looking for? Where Natasha's sat with Bruce and she's saying, oh, there's only me and you here. And then he threatens her to try and get her eyes out of her. Obviously, she's immediately defensive because she knows who he is. And they're surrounded by armed S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And Bruce is like, thought it was only me and you. You see, Bruce is one step ahead. Bruce is one bright cookie. And he really is the smartest person in that room. Of course, he's going to hit it off with Tony Stark, who again is a genius billionaire playboy philanthropist. So Bruce and Tony immediately hit it off when they meet, and Tony's wit, Robert Downey Jr.'s singular wit, is just brilliant, on point as ever as Tony Stark in this movie. And his jokes with Thor. There's a great scene where Captain America, they've captured Loki and they're in the Quinjet and the thunder comes down and Thor lands on the Quinjet and he takes Loki, and Captain America, Steve Rogers, turns to Tony Stark and he says, "Tony, we need a plan of attack." And Tony says, "I have a plan. Attack." So his wit is just like this. And then the Point Break, you know, he just, Point Break comment, I should say, he just nails it every time. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. Is there a difference between those two characters? I think Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. Just absolute brilliant casting on the part of the producers and the makers of this entire series. And you can see why that character, and Robert Downey Jr. in particular, was the bedrock of the Infinity Saga and the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is greatly missed at this point in 2023. By me, at least, anyway. And then Chris Evans as Captain America. He gets his chance to shine, and Clark Gregg plays a fantastic fawning fan. The creepy scene where he says, "Oh, I watched you sleep," and you can see Steve's face is like, "Well, that's not weird at all." You know, he doesn't say that, but clearly that's a weird comment. And then Agent Coulson tries to backtrack on that, saying, "Well, I was present while you were asleep," blah, blah. But it's just so human. The interaction with them, the dialogue, the script, it's just so human. These people are superhuman, but what makes it such an enjoyable watch is the grounded level of banter that you get between them and the natural rhythms of that dialogue. Now, the dialogue isn't the only thing that's brilliant in this film. There's some great cameos as well. Harry Dean Stanton is one of my favourite actors. I've not seen him in many things, but I'm a massive Alien fan. And yeah, okay, take my hat off to you. I loved him in Alien, and I've loved him in everything else I've seen, but I can't actually think of anything else that he's been in apart from that. But it was so great to see him in this film. And of course, you get the obligatory Stan Lee cameo as well. There's so many good scenes and good shots in this film, and I particularly liked that this was the first time the Marvel movie had been released with a 16:9 aspect ratio. So when you watch it on your telly at home, it actually fills the screen and it gives it a much bigger picture, which is somewhat more immersive. And I found that the CGI looked great. The action scenes are well paced, and like I said already, the comedy is on point, and it just carries right through the film and gives it a real sense of levity in such dark and perilous times, really. So we get to the scenes where what will become known as the Infinity Stones. Okay, let me qualify that. Basically, the Tesseract was a MacGuffin that they used for Captain America and the Avengers. And then Loki's got a staff as well, which mind controls people. And they were retconned later down the line into Infinity Stones. Right? So the Space Stone is the Tesseract, and Loki's scepter is the Mind Stone. All right? And you can see in the scenes in the helicarrier how the Mind Stone is altering people's behavior. It's basically messing with their minds. And I love the way Joss Whedon does the camera work on it, because the close-ups of like Thor are kind of off kilter, and then you get this banter between Steve and Tony as well, where they're saying, "Put on the suit, I'll go a few rounds, I'm not afraid to hit an old man," blah blah blah. And you can see how they're getting more and more agitated till eventually it climaxes with Bruce holding the scepter. Okay? And it's just so well shot, because you don't see him pick it up, and he's giving this monologue about, you want to know how bad I am, how dangerous I am, you know, you can't kill me. And he alludes to actually a deleted scene from the Incredible Hulk film, where it was a deleted opening scene where Bruce Banner actually tried to end his life and the other guy stopped him. So that was a deleted scene, and you can actually see it as a deleted scene on the Incredible Hulk DVD and Blu-ray and 4K disc. It is there, you can watch it. in that scene, actually, the Hulk would have broken the ice because they were in the North Pole, in the Arctic or Antarctic, whichever one it is, and he breaks the ice, and there's one scene, one shot where you can actually see Captain America's shield in the ice, apparently. I'm not sure about that because it's only tiny, it's only small, but allegedly that's what happened, and that's one of the reasons they found Captain America, is because of the ice broke and he became a bit more revealed. Anyway, that's besides the point. In this film, Bruce Banner talks about that, and he relays that story to them, and the way that the camera angles move, and it's quite jarring and quite off-putting, and it's off-kilter as well. So I love the way Joss Whedon uses that to illustrate how people are being affected by this Mind Stone, and then it's revealed that he has actually picked it up, and then there's a big explosion and loads of action sequences go on, and it all kicks off. But what I want to get to is one of the other changes that happened here in the UK on the home release. It's when Loki stabs Phil Coulson. Okay? Believe it or not, in the home release, in the cinemas, it was fine, it was normal. But in the home release here in the UK, they digitally removed the point of Loki's spear coming through the chest of Phil Coulson. Now, they did that because they felt it would be too gruesome on the home release, and that was disappointing. You can Google it, they definitely did that, right? I'm happy to say that my 4K disc that I'm watching and reviewing has that restored. You can see it. I don't want to see gruesome things like that, but I want to see the film a way a filmmaker intended it. I don't want to see it sanitized because they think we can't handle it. You know, it's an Avengers movie, we can handle it. It was in the cinema, we can handle it. They just try to baby us too much sometimes. But yeah, that's an actual thing, and there is a really obscure profanity later in the film after that, or no, it's slightly before that, I think. Actually, it's before that. That they left in the film. They left the obscure profanity in it, and it's a horrible profanity that they left in the film that Loki says to Black Widow. They left that in, but removed this little spike out of Phil Coulson's chest. I don't get it. And the profanity, he refers to Black Widow as a mewling quim. Now, I'm not going to explain to you what that is, but you can Google it and look it up yourself, and you will see how profane that actually is. Right, so to the disc. Now, this is actually a box set of all 4 Avengers movies. We've got Avengers Assemble, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame, all in this fantastic 4K box set. Look at that. Wow. So many discs. Look how cool that is. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 discs there. Each film has 2 discs because they've got the 4K disc and a Blu-ray, and then there's a special features disc on the end. This box set, if you can get it, definitely get it, because for any Marvel fan or physical media fan, it is definitely worth it. Now, Avengers Assemble, which I've watched tonight, brilliant. Okay, brilliant. I keep saying it about all these discs, but it's true. These 4K transfers are really good. I thought that The Incredible Hulk was slightly dark and gritty, but it always was. It always has been. Even if you watch a DVD or a Blu-ray, that's the way they made the film, so it looks great. But in that film, the sound was what was really good, because the colours were rich, the settings were rich, but the sounds were brilliant, and you could hear Hulk talking. It's the same for this one. Now, this is a Joss Whedon film. It's the Avengers, or Avengers Assemble, so it's very colourful, it's very vibrant. As I said earlier, it's got a full 16:9 aspect ratio, so it fills the screen, so the picture really does look stunning. The sound effects are amazing, but they always have been. So really, in this disc, I would say if you've got the Blu-ray, you might be all right, but I would recommend the 4K because everything's better with a higher resolution, because the picture's sharper, the details are more defined, there's more colours, the blacks are deeper, you know, the contrast ratio is deeper, and also because of the large storage on the 4K discs, the soundscape is far richer as well. You can hear things that you may not hear in any other media. So definitely Avengers Assemble, 10 out of 10. Brilliant first step, first Avengers movie, first out of 4 so far, and the first culmination to phase 1 of the MCU. Definitely recommend it. Let me know in your what you think in the comments down below. Give me a like, subscribe, because it helps to support the channel, and it helps let me know that you've watched the videos. Thank you for your time, and I will see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, drop us a like and subscribe to see all future content.